Welcome to the True Love Secrets Revealed Telesummit. Today we have with us the most beautiful Kimmy Seltzer. Kimmy is a confidence therapist, authentic dating strategist, and image expert. With a vat of knowledge and experience as a therapist, certified style coach, dating coach, and matchmaker, she has helped people find lasting love and connection, attract success, and build valuable relationships using her unique confidence makeover process. Using an outside-in approach, Kimmy implements targeted style, emotional and social intelligence in people's lives using her signature formula, the Charisma Quotient, working on body language, first impressions, image, wardrobe, and flirting, and how it impacts attraction. This Los Angeles-based expert travels the country helping people discover confidence, charisma, and connection as a speaker at TEDx, national matchmaking conferences, eHarmony, Neutrogena, The Guild at Universal, UCLA, and iDate. Welcome, 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 Kimmy. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So my first question is going to be how to build confidence from the outside in. I am always so focused on helping my clients to build confidence from the inside out.
Yes.
That this is so different. I love it.
Yeah. I know it raises a lot of eyebrows when people hear, wait, outside in, that sounds so superficial. Well, no, and I like that you asked that first, because the truth is I used to be like you. I used to believe that you had to work from the inside out in order to build confidence, find love, all that stuff. And, I chuckle every single time people read back my bio, because I'm like, I don't even know that side of me. All I know is my own story and how I got here, because the truth is that is really what inspired me to do what I do. And it actually changed and flipped the script in which I work, because when I lived in Chicago and I practiced as a therapist, we were all taught to work from the inside out. And my life was pretty traditional, and everything was going on as planned. I practiced in a traditional way. I had the traditional house, the picket fence, the kids, the dog, the husband. I still have the kids, by the way, but you see where it's going, right? Traditionally, I thought my life was kind of planned out. And then we all pick up and we move from Chicago across the country to LA. We plopped down
That's a big move.
Yeah, it was the big move. And as soon as we got here, that's when the record stopped, and my traditional life, poof, disappeared. Because as I joked, we ended up doing what all the other people here in LA do. We get a divorce, and
No.
I like to blame LA, but I would have been here anyway. And oftentimes when you're removed from almost like the insulation of your life, right? You're almost faced with things that aren't working, and that truly extracted all the issues that were going on between us. But there I was, all alone in this new place, in this new castle, not knowing what to do with my new life, with no support system. And I'm a single mom of very young kids. And here's the kicker: I'm a therapist, right? I should know better. And I did what I used to preach. I worked from the inside out. I went to counseling myself. I did all those things. And what I found is it was this almost like analysis paralysis that was happening to me. And, you hear all the time, oh, just do the work and just work on yourself. You're not ready for dating, just work. But what did that mean? I was just sitting there working on myself, but taking no action. Right. And I really didn't know how I was going to get out of my own way, quite honestly. I was about to give up, and I fell into this very dark place in my life. And my clothes definitely reflected that. You know, if you would have saw me back then, I would not be wearing this bright pink. I actually was in black, look, I love black, but my whole wardrobe was black. And they were all oversized, too big on me. I'd lost weight. I didn't even see the new me. I was still wearing the nursing bras and I wasn't even nursing any longer. I mean, this is how stuck I was in my mindset, in my clothes. And I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I took a hard look in the mirror and I said, who have I become? Like, I was this like frumpy mom. And I said, I wouldn't want to date me. So who else would?
Right.
And it really, that's where it started. It was like, it was me. So I did something really untraditional. I went shopping, like shopping therapy. This is where my business was born. And so I go to the store and I think I'm up leveling myself. No, I'm collecting all the black clothes in my arm.
Oh no.
Again, you know, I'm like, oh, they're new clothes. It'll be great.
Yes.
And this personal shopper, she saw me. She was just like watching me the whole time. And she came up to me. She says, ma'am, I've been watching you and I really think you should try this on. And she holds up this red dress that looked like 3 sizes too small. And I said, that's really sweet of you, but that's really not my size. And that's really red. She says, honey, that is your size. That is your color.
Oh my gosh, she must be Latina. I always joke that Latinas, we wear everything one size smaller.
Oh, you do? Well, you guys have it going on. And we're going to talk about the Latin culture in a second, because I think the Latin culture is super sexy. You and I were talking about this before.
Thank you.
And, you know,
But you're super sexy.
well, thank you. I had to lean into it. But at that moment, I did not think it was sexy. And this is the point, and even just what I want to talk about today. Because also up until that point, what was interesting is before the divorce happened, I thought I was a pretty confident person.
Right.
But the divorce shattered that, you know, and I did not have that sexy confidence whatsoever. When she made me try on that red dress, I decided to do it. I call it my red dress moment. And I now like use that in everything that I do, because I believe everyone needs to have a red dress moment, metaphorically, where you're hit over the head with that aha moment where you really see yourself. And I slip into the red dress, I twirl around like Cinderella, and I look in the mirror once again and was like, bam.
That's me.
I'm like, there she is.
Here, take it.
Yeah, right. And it was this visceral response that I had.
I'm sure you look beautiful. She knew what she was doing. I bet red looks really good on you.
Well, red looks good on everyone, and we could talk about that, but there's different kinds of reds for different like skin tones, right? And what was so interesting to me is I bought the dress as a costume because I still didn't really believe it, but I'm like, I'm going to go out in the world and I'm going to just marinate in it and see the impact it has. And a funny thing happened. Men started noticing me and I didn't like it. That was a real, and it was in that moment I realized, wow, this whole time I was hiding. I was wearing black clothes to keep me invisible from men because I didn't know how to flirt. I didn't know how to talk to them. It had been years until I had put myself out there. And so I had to really get used to being seen, being heard, being just like in my femininity. And it's like, I didn't care how much of the inside job I did. It wasn't until I learned how to really put myself out there in the way I marketed myself is when everything changed. And that there's a symbiotic relationship between the outer and the inner when it comes to confidence. So full circle, in answer to your question, this is how working from the outside in was born, because it is the quickest gateway into somebody's confidence. When you change your clothes, you change your attitude, you change your body language and energy, it changes the way others perceive you. And it changes how you see yourself. Absolutely. And then I work on the inside. I mean, as a therapist, trust me, I believe the inside job is huge, but sometimes it's hard. Like you could, again, do all the work, but if you don't put yourself out there, love's going to pass you by.
Right. Oh my God. I love it. Love, love, love everything you said. amazing. I love how I can relate so much to the waiting part. I also went through my phase of waiting, doing all the work, doing all the visualization, all the vision boarding, and sitting at home with my dog, you know?
Right.
Yes, and realizing that that doesn't work. It's good. It's very good. I was trained as a psychotherapist as well, so I come from that background. So I am super heavy on that area. But what you said, focusing on the outside, helps so much. It complements, and sometimes if we feel bad for any reason, putting some makeup on, doing our hair, doing our nails, it just feels good. It just changes our vibe. So,
Yes.
so how it went for you after that? How did you become a dating coach and a matchmaker? And were you doing that already when you were a therapist, or you were
No. That's,
technical therapy, something different?
Right. I mean, that's kind of where the story began and ended, right? And I, was trained as an image consultant. I started doing makeovers on people, and I saw the impact it had. I was like, wow, like I can do a shopping session, one shopping session with someone, and I can be more effective with someone, working with them in the field, not only shopping with them, but helping them flirt, helping them interact with the opposite sex.
Right.
Like real life stuff.
Yes.
That I could fast track more than like years of just sitting in therapy with people, because that's when I could help people in real time. So people used to call me Hitch meets What Not to Wear, if you know those references to these shows, right? And I just realized the power of working with people in the field. So fast forward to now, I do dating retreats, I do in-person experiences, and I work with men as well. So I do co-ed experiences, not just women, it's with men. And I have virtual classes, I do virtual makeovers as well, that kind of thing. But it's all about the action piece, which is missing. And I use my formula called the Charisma Quotient, which is the name of my podcast. And I love the word charisma because it's kind of like what we're talking about. It's an energy that just draws people to you. And what's awesome about charisma is that research shows that it's a learned skill, that you're not born charismatic, and which means I can teach it. So within the charisma, and we can kind of talk about this in relation to our topic, is that there's 3 pillars that I work with people on. The first being style intelligence, meaning I call it the way that you are perceived. It's all the stuff that we're talking about: your wardrobe, your first impressions, your body language, your sexual appeal, your body image. Also, like how we feel about our body is directly correlated to like how we show up as well.
Yes.
Because if you get anything from our talk, you listening, I want you to get this, is that this is not about the man, it's about you. And when you look in the mirror and you say, I'm sexy, that's only when a man is going to too. And so it's super crucial to kind of like, as a woman, especially, to see herself that way. The second pillar is emotional intelligence. And I'm sure you do a lot of work on that too, right? It's how we express ourselves. It's vulnerability, it's authenticity, it's a resilience, it's the inner stuff. But how we express ourselves and not apologize, but really own ourselves is such a crucial part. And the third is your social intelligence, how we interact and manage interpersonal communication, and that includes flirting. So one of my near and dear topics. I actually have a flirt workshop coming up. It's like, I love teaching it.
Oh, let's deep dive on that, because I get that question a lot, and I have my coaching on it, but I would love to hear what you have to say to this lady that, she doesn't know how to flirt, and tell her, go and flirt with everybody. And she's like, how do I do that? And so how do you handle that? How can somebody like a regular Jane, a woman that, went to college, got a job, she never flirt? Actually, let's take it a step further. Maybe she's afraid of it because she thinks that men are gonna want to take advantage of her, or that they are going to, you know, think the wrong thing from her. I'm talking from a friend. No, actually, I'm talking from myself. That used to be me. I used to be terrified because men were very attracted to me since a very young age. So I'm like, if on top of that I are flirting, so I hid, you know, so men wouldn't approach me. Anyway, enough of me. Take it away.
No, thank you for asking that and sharing that, because flirting, just that word, has a lot of associations with it, and it triggers people in different ways.
Right.
And to your point, there's different fears and excuses around why people don't flirt, and it has to do with different reasons. So the first thing that I will say about flirting is I always ask people what their definition of flirting is. And it's really interesting how people define it. And a lot of it's based on their history or their associations around it. But the truth is, this is fascinating. When you look in the dictionary of how it's defined, it is to behave as though you are attracted to someone without the serious intentions of an outcome.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great? Because no, it's like the light bulb goes off when you hear that, because about you listening and also just us talking. Why don't you flirt? Well, normally the excuses and fears are always outcome oriented.
Right.
The wrong impression. I'm not good at it. I only turn it on to people I like. I don't want to be too much. I want him to like me for my intelligence, not my body. Like, I could give every excuse and fear, and when I do my workshops, I'll put it up on the put, and they'll already have said it. They're, how did you know that? Because there's common and universal, you know, fears. But flirting is not supposed to be any of that. Flirting is supposed to be about a presence, a playfulness that has nothing to do about what's next.
Oh my God. Ladies, you're so lucky you are listening to Kim. My God, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. You're well. No, and it takes, you know, because I think people attach it to these highly sexualized behavior. And when I teach it, it more has to do with like a formula that I teach, but a lot of it is about this presence and the charisma and the energy and the playfulness, and not worrying about what other people think or feel, but worrying about you. And it's almost like kids. I love kids. You know, when they're like 4 or 5 years old, they don't have,
that's the best.
They're natural flirts because they don't have any filters yet. They just run, you know, they don't see like a kid in a sandbox and saying, oh, I shouldn't go bother them. I shouldn't, you know, because no, they just say, hi, want to play? And like, that's the best age. Why don't that age. Right? Like, why don't we do that anymore? Why can't we go up to someone in the bar and say, hi, happy Friday? Like, it's that simple, yet we make it so complex. And a lot of it is like what you said. Either we're fearing things that might have happened to us in the past, or we worry about what's going to happen in the future instead of being what is. Right. Yes, it has a lot to do with, I can see fear of rejection coming in. Oh, that's the biggest fear. What about if I am flirting and vulnerable and he doesn't even notice me or something like that, or he doesn't like me? Yes. Yeah. But it's about being playful without, without attachment to the outcome. And by the way, ladies, like a lot of it, like I work with a lot of high achievers. You probably do too. And if you're listening, this might be you. But the biggest culprit of why people stop themselves is they think too much, right? Like you're thinking. And analyzers, right? And think about high achievers, you're outcome oriented. Well, that's why you're probably so good at business. Right. Because you're thinking about the goals and the outcomes. This is the antithesis of that. Right. It has nothing to do with that. So it's super hard sometimes to let go of the outcome. It's like, oh, well, I'm not going to turn it on to someone who I'm not interested in, or like who's not my boyfriend. Like, you lose so many opportunities that way. Like
Yeah.
I remember I was coaching a woman, and she really wanted to know how to flirt and all that. I first had to change her clothes because she was hiding in her clothes. And then I kind of turned her into a monster, and she was like really sexy and started like, talking to guys everywhere. I'm like, flirt and have fun with everyone. That's my motto. Flirt and have fun with everyone, because you do not know who other people know who might see you along the way. Well, this is what happened to her. She was at a bar and she started being that kind of barfly that I taught her to be. There was no one at the bar she was interested in, but she had me in her head. She's like, all right, Kimmy says to just keep flirting and having fun. And she did. She owned the bar. At the end of the night, this guy came up to her that she didn't even see the whole time. He was like somewhere in the restaurant. And he said, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be creepy. He's like, I just couldn't help but notice your energy. And I just wanted to say, it's just really refreshing seeing
Oh,
somebody so happy and beautiful. Like, and it wasn't creepy. Like it was being really like genuine. And they started talking, and they hit it off. And that guy ended up being someone she dated for a very long time.
wow.
And this was somebody that she didn't even see. So it's like, again, when you let go, you open up the doors to so many more opportunities.
Yes, yes. It's just letting go and have fun. Bring the fun back. We
Yes.
we grow up and we forget how to have fun and just be ourselves. And if that requires to learn healthy boundaries, how to place healthy boundaries, that's a blessing, because we are getting two for one. We are getting
Exactly.
flirting, and we are also getting an opportunity for self-development right there and then. So it's amazing. It's
Oh my God, 100%. And what I was going to say also is, it's not even what you say that's important for, you ladies who are in your head. It's your presence. It's how you are. I mean, 93% of communication is nonverbal.
right.
So smiling, making eye contact, notice who's noticing you, moving through the life, through the grocery store, through the valet, like, with that smile and that attitude, it again, it makes such a difference. I mean, everyone's so worried about what to say. And sometimes the best approaches are the ones that are the most nonsensical and playful ones,
Right.
that have nothing to do with some clever line or, or whatever it is in your head.
I dated 200 guys, 200 first dates in 2 years, with learning English, English being my second language. So believe me, I wasn't talking that much. And if I was talking, I wasn't, paraphrasing physics, quantum physics, talking regular stuff. I would say 90% of those guys asked me on a second date.
Oh my God. If that's not a testament, I don't know what is. You know what's so brilliant about that, Natalia, is that I often tell people, date as if you are on vacation, because like when you're in a foreign country or on vacation, you
Right.
tend to be more like curious and open, and you're trying to learn. And you probably had that kind of attitude when you were out with guys, and they appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because it was your essence, your energy, your curiosity that was so attractive. I
I
love
just didn't have an outcome in my mind. I just was there to meet him and see, get to know a human being. As I said, my background, I started very, very young in the therapy world. So
that.
I really, really like people. I like to know people. And so that was my thing, getting to know him. And that's it. That was it. So I have a burning question for you. That is
Yes. Oh, I
little
love
bit
learning questions.
different, but when you said, I didn't know you work with men too.
Yeah.
It's going to be about men. Can I go
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Some ladies, they believe they are not pretty enough for a guy. So you are the expert in this area on style, and you're a therapist. You have all the certifications and the experience. So nobody better to answer this question than you. So how high are the standards of beauty for men? I don't know if I made
What a great question. You know, I've never, in all these years I've been doing this, I have never been asked that question. And it's such a good one. It's such a good one because,
thank you.
yeah, no, I think that, you know, I think there's a different stigma with beauty in women than it is with like men and handsomeness. You know, like I think society and the way that social media is and the filters and all that, there's all this like, yeah, a lot of pressure around that. So, you know, besides all the external factors that I think, you know, kind of cloud our vision and mind of that. I think one of the issues has to do with not the beauty, not thinking you're pretty enough, but more about like the underneath of that. What's that about? You know, like, has that been your like story your entire life? And are you just carrying that with you and then making that be your excuse for why men don't like you?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll tell a quick story around that and then I'll circle back to this. But there was a woman I worked with. Actually, she lived in Australia and she flew here to do a whole makeover because she said exactly that. She's like, I'm the intelligent one in the family.
Right.
And my two sisters were the beautiful ones. So growing up, I was just seen as the intelligent one.
Yeah.
But when you saw her, I mean, she was a beautiful woman, but she wasn't putting herself out there as that. She's like, this is my, almost like my intellectual look, you know, kind of thing. And you can actually see my before and after of hers. If you go to my site, kimmyseltzer.com, I have a lot of my before and afters. And again, like if I was just a therapist and I was working through this, yeah, it would have been helpful to just kind of like from a cognitive therapy point of view, maybe help her get over some of these limiting beliefs. But honestly, that's not what she needed. She needed to have evidence to see herself a different way and move through life that way. So we went through the whole makeover process. And I mean, she looked stunning after. Now, was she pretty before? Absolutely. Was she marketing herself as the pretty girl after? Absolutely.
I love how you use the word marketing. I use that word too.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Yes.
And because it really is, you know, it's not changing who you are. This is what I really want everyone to get. It's about marketing yourself so that someone gets to know who you are.
Yes.
And that was the difference. And so when we also teaching her what men like, you know, because often we dress as women for each other.
Right.
Realizing
that.
men are like, what the heck is it? So going back to your question, that's one of the things I teach. I mean, I'm very scientific in the way I teach clothes. Like I have people measure themselves. In fact, I have a free gift for everybody. So everyone understand what their body type is, what clothes flatter their body type, what clothes to stay away from. So first, just know what looks good on the body, looking at color, right? And how color can also be a sign of attraction. We were talking about red. I'm wearing pink. It just so happens men are attracted to red and pink, ladies. On your profile, on your profile, always have a picture of you in red and pink. It has to be the right shade for your skin tone, but still, that's another trick. And the other thing is, you know, just really thinking about your dating wear as your dating costume. I think sometimes women also think in practical terms. You know, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to walk around in these heels. Blah, blah. I'm like, well, really, all you're going to do is go and maybe meet a gentleman for an hour. Could you handle wearing this costume with these shoes for an hour? Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, you know? And so thinking of it as also when you change your costume, you'll change your energy as well. So getting out of the work clothes, getting out of that. And I think all of these things make a difference. But at the end of the day, men find women sexy when they find themselves sexy. And for women who think that they're not, then guess what? Men won't either. Right. It's not until, again, it's like that whole message I said. There was a guy I was working with, and I was taking a survey with him. And one woman walked by, and for all intents and purposes, most people would say she's a beautiful woman. She was tall, thin, blonde hair, but she was kind of walking stiff and like she looked a little insecure and kind of like, I don't know, just not focused. And I said, do you find that woman sexy? And he goes, no, I wouldn't ask her out. I said, really? He's like, yeah, I mean, she's pretty, but no, she's not approachable. She's not sexy. No.
Right.
Interesting. Second woman walks by. She was shorter, a little heavier set, and not like, the kind of model quality that we saw in the first one. But boy, was she working it. She was moving and she just looked happy. And then she walked by him and she went like this. And she did a little smile, that little cute little flirty smile. I said, do you find her sexy? He goes, oh yeah, extremely. I said, well, what was the difference? He's like, because the second one felt like she was so comfortable in her skin and her body. And that's super attractive.
Oh my God.
And it's a big lesson I'd like to tell women, back to your question, because there is some body for everybody and everyone's beautiful in their own way. I love teaching women how to bring out the best version in themselves so they see themselves differently too.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. I can see we can keep talking forever, but time is of essence.
Yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's time already.
Yes, it flew by. So, but before we leave, I want you please share the gift with the
Yes. Well, as I was teasing and flirting with all of you before, it is a free sexy body type guide. And basically,
I'm gonna get it right now.
Oh my God, it's all you do is you measure your shoulders, your waist, your hips. It determines your body type. It has nothing to do with your weight, but more about how your bone structure is and the distribution to that. And then I give you little tips on, what clothes flatter your body, what clothes to stay away from. And it's a great first step if you want to build kind of like your dating wardrobe and confidence in your clothes. And I do virtual makeovers and all kinds of things. So happy to help anyway.
Thank you so much. The link for the free resource is going to be underneath this video. So go ahead and click and grab it. I'm going to do it. And thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure. You are a ray of light. You are so beautiful inside out. And it has been a pleasure meeting you and talking with you.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thank you. Upgrade to join the VIP exclusive package. Maximize the difference that this interview series can make in your love life. The VIP package includes 2 additional VIP-only coaching and training sessions after this challenge to make the shift you want to make to create the loving relationship you want. That is an additional week of coaching and training. A private 20-minute coaching session with me to set real goals, remove your blocks, and get your questions answered. A free ticket to the Get Ready for Love Masterclass, a powerful live training session that will help you create your unique love vision and jumpstart you to create the love you want right away. On-demand access to the Library of Experts interview. These recordings will only be made available to VIPs. And emails from me updating you with all the links and dates for the VIP extra trainings, coaching calls, and resources. Amounts to a total value of $1,100. Today, you can access it for only $47. Click on the button that says Join VIP now for only $47. Looking forward to see you there.